Hey friends, welcome back. So today's video is what may seem like a simple tutorial, but it is filled with so many lessons, like for real. So sit still, hang tight, and enjoy the ride. So the wig that I'm working with today is a very simple and, in my humble opinion, boring wig. So I wanted to switch things up a little bit and transform her into this dark and lovely red color. I'm really trying to live up my hot girl summer or city girl summer, and that's on period. Also, in my next video, I'll be giving you guys all the deets on how I achieved this machine sewn unit. This will make you never want to hand sew a wig again, okay? Like, look at how perfect these stitchings are. And this took me less than 40 minutes to make this whole wig on camera. So stay tuned for that, ladies. To get started with this color, we're going to start with stripping the black off of this wig. Y'all already know the drill. You'll need some bleach powder, some bleach developer, a tub to put your mixture in, your gloves. Don't forget the gloves. Like, seriously, do not forget the gloves. And a mixing brush. Lesson number 1. Had to start it right. If you want to achieve a dark color, no matter what the color is, you don't need to use a 40 volume developer. It's not a necessity, okay? You can use a 30 and sometimes even a 20 volume developer, depending on the color that you're going for and how dark and deep it is, all while maintaining the health of your bundles. But in this video, all I had was a 40 volume developer, so I just kept it pushing, and I'll show you the effects that it had on me later. Lesson number 2. If you go to a university, take the t-shirts from your school in extra large or extra large and turn them into your dye job t-shirts. Like, girl, your college will tell you it's free, but trust me, you paid for it through tuition. I took a good 20 of these one day when my school was carelessly handing out t-shirts, and I don't regret it at all. Like, it's seriously what I deserve. Anyways, moving on, I'm parting this hair up into sections, and I like to separate the closure from the rest of the hair because my technique for applying the bleach on the closure is way different than it is in the back. Everything else I'm just parting as I go, and I did about 3 big rows of sections. Now, there's no right or wrong way of doing this, girl. I'm just slapping this bleach right on, and I'm moving fast. I want everything to bleach evenly and basically at the same rate, all while making sure I do not neglect the roots and I go in between each weft. That is very, very important. So like I said earlier, for the color that I'm going for, I don't need to lighten the hair up too much. We don't want the base of this to be black, but we don't want it to be too light either. So I really do recommend stepping down to a 30 volume developer. Once everything is covered, I'm now focusing on the closure section. And with this, I'm making small sections and covering everything but the root. Lesson number 3. To make sure that it is not a blotchy transition, I'm angling my brush this way and I'm going up and down, making light, very light streaks to create an easy flow of colors. I don't like that blotchy transition, like, it can't be me. So once everything is covered, I wash it all out, and this is the color that I'm left with. It's pretty light for me, honestly. I would have been happier with it being darker, but honestly, we move. Now, to deposit the color onto the wig, I am using this color Tango permanent hair dye in the color Cabernet. Even the name sounds so rich. With this hair dye, they do say that you can basically just place it on regular 1B hair and it'll lift the black while depositing the color. But girl, this is AliExpress hair and I do not trust any of that at all. So I decided to just lift it anyways. This dye calls for 1 part dye and 2 parts developer, and with this being 25 ounces, I just did the math on Google, of course, and it came out to 1/4 cup. So I did 8 1/4 cups of developer because I had 4 of the dye tubes. Easy math, okay? Make sure you do mix it up really well until you have a creamy consistency, and then you're ready to dye your hair. So to start, we're sectioning off the closure, you know, different section, different technique. And for the rest of the hair, I part as I go, and really I did like 3 rows. And with this color deposition, there's no fancy technique. Just slap it on there, girls. Just slap it on, literally. But make sure you do remember to get in between those wefts and do not neglect the roots, okay? I'm not gonna lie though, I was real scared with this orange color that this was giving off. With me, I'm used to just knowing what the color looks like straight off the bat with using temporary hair dyes like Adore without it having to process or nothing. But I'm not gonna lie, this did get the job done for the most part. So with the closure, same technique as earlier, section by section without going all the way to the roots. Because I mean, that's just not the look I was going for. Obviously, if you want your color to start at the root, then of course, you do you, babe. I did have a little bit of product left over, so I just decided to just recoat the entire thing, and I make sure I coated the roots especially, and I let this all sit for about 20 to 30 minutes. Now, for the moment of truth. after I rinsed all the product off, this was the color that I was left with. I was not happy with it. I wasn't proud of it. So I decided to just stick with what I knew best, and that was Adore Temporary Hair Dye. At the end, I will explain both products better and what I learned so that you guys can make the best choice and pick the best option for you. So consider me your test bunny. Okay. To get my final color, I mixed 2 bottles of Rich Amber and 1 bottle of Wild Cherry to get the color that I ended up with and loved the most. So once this is all washed out, this is my final color, and this color looks so good and so expensive in my opinion. Like, it is all one color all the way through. This is really the perfect designer red. Like, I'm not gonna lie, Twitter has been going back and forth with black women in luxury, and this is my own form of luxury. Like, and I decided to serve it with some gourmet crimps. So I'm crimping in sections, and I use this Bio Silk serum every time I make a new section. And girl, I'm not even gonna lie, I knew crimping would take a long time, but I did not think it was gonna take this long. At the end of the day though, it is just a lot of repetition, as you can see. The one thing I will say though is to make sure that you thoroughly comb out or brush out the section completely before you decide to crimp it, because once you crimp, there is no going back. And also, you want everything to look really nice, really smooth, really even and shiny. So yeah, heavy on the comb it out thoroughly. And also, this was my first time crimping, and I found that the best technique is when you do one little crimp. In order to make everything flow seamlessly, you're going to start the next crimp at the last hump of the previous crimp, if that makes sense. This way, everything just looks even, everything just flows. Honestly, just take my advice on it, because I've seen so many bad crimp jobs. So like I said, I'm gonna repeat it again. Once you do one little crimp, you're going to start the next crimp at the last hump of the previous crimp. So you're going to overlap it to make sure everything just flows. So for the closure section, I'm cleaning up my parts, combing it through and oiling up the section, then hot combing it real nice and real flat before I even begin crimping. Like I said before, there is no going back once you crimp. So you want to make sure that you do everything else before and then decide to crimp, because once you crimp and then you start combing through, you're basically just going to ruin your entire work. So use a hair wax, comb it through, hot comb it, make sure your wig is real nice, real flat, real even, and then you decide to crimp. Also, when I'm crimping the top, please do not be that person that starts the crimp at the very top, at the very root of your hair. Please. So starting at about 3 inches down is really good. If you're going for the flat look, of course. If you want to do the little bumpy lumpy, go ahead, start at the top. But to me, this technique, starting a little bit farther down, just makes everything just fall nicely. Now, almost an hour later, this is what the style is looking like, and honestly, I'm in love. Like, I'm gonna say this once though, crimping is not for the weak, so please take caution when you decide to do this hairstyle. Don't say I didn't warn you either. Unless your wig is short, of course, then it's not gonna take you that much time, but sis, if you have 24, 26, 28, all of that stuff, it's gonna take you a minute, okay? I was honestly so satisfied with this look that I wanted to do a full beat on camera to show you guys. The goal was to show you guys the entire process, but I'm not even gonna lie, I don't want to keep y'all here all day. You came here for a wig tutorial. And also, if I'm being honest with myself, the process was a mess. I messed up a lot, and I was in such a rush this day, honestly. The one thing that did pull this look together, however, were these lashes from Made by LaSalle in the style Spoiled, because it is a must to spoil yourself with these lashes and this hairstyle, of course. But before I show you guys the final result, what were the main 2 lessons we learned today from achieving this color? So firstly, you can definitely achieve this entire look with the color Tango permanent dye, but I would just skip the entire bleaching process because you aren't supposed to do so anyways. The chemicals in the dye plus the developer working together will lift the base of the black and deposit the color as well, so you just get everything done in one step alone. But if you do want to go the safe route and stick with what you and I know the best, you can obviously use the Adore temporary hair dyes, but you will have to bleach the hair to lift the color. But with this, I will say just use either 30 or 20 volume developer, because you don't need to lift the color too much for this dark red. And also with that way, of course, you can still maintain the health of your bundles. Okay, got it? So this is the finished look. It is oh so sexy, oh so delicious, and I love the way this turned out, and I hope you guys do as well. But that is all for this video, girlies and boysies, if y'all are watching too. Hey boo. I hope you guys love this look, and I hope you guys try it out while learning from my mistakes. like this video up and show your love and gratitude. It really helps me out. But I hope you guys learned a lot from this video, and also stay tuned for my next one on tips and tricks to a real secure machine sewn unit. Okay, I'll see you guys there. Bye.